Are you a type 1 diabetic who has high blood sugars? Then you should try Insulin Aspart. Insulin is an amazing drug that is used to help diabetic people live as healthy lives as they can. The drug is injected by a syringe after a diabetic person eats, replacing the natural process that occurs in non-diabetic people, where insulin is transferred from the pancreas to the bloodstream into cells to take the new sugar and use it for energy or later use. Insulin Aspart, or Novolog, a specific type and brand of insulin, works in its own specific way. Insulin Aspart is called rapid-acting insulin, in which the composition is manipulated from normal insulin to make it work faster. Insulin Aspart starts to work 15 minutes after it is first injected. Next is the composition of Insulin Aspart. In a 100 units per milliliter vial of insulin, there is 19.6 micrograms of zinc, 1.25 milligrams per milliliter of disodium hydrogen phosphate dihydrate, 1.72 milligrams per milliliters of M-cresol, 1.5 milligrams per milliliters of phenol, 16 milligrams per milliliter of glycerin, 0.58 milligrams per milliliter of sodium chloride, and water in the remainder for a better injection. Glycerin is a main component in insulin. It is used as something that helps insulin flow inside the body, it be injected smoothly and with little pain, and metabolize faster. Glycerin is made in a lab and added to the final liquid form of insulin when it is rehydrated for use. M-cresol is another important component in the making of insulin. Before insulin can be drawn from a vial, an equal amount of air must be pushed into the vial. That air can be contaminated with bacteria. Preservatives must be used to kill that bacteria to prevent transmitting infection through the insulin injection sites. A little air can get into the vial of that insulin syringe, so it requires some preservatives, which is M-cresol. Just like glycerin, M-cresol is made in a lab and added to the final liquid form of insulin when it is rehydrated for use. Now, let's hear from some satisfied users of Insulin Aspart.
Over 29 million diabetic Americans alive. I think that's pretty awesome.
Buy it on the black market to build up my muscles.
Super effective. It works almost instantly.
Honestly, it's revolutionary.
I think it's crazy how 8 ounces of insulin used to take 2 tons of pig pancreas to make. Amazing!
It smells like old people truly, but it's cool, I guess.
I love this stuff!
Now, how is insulin made and how does chemistry play a role in its creation? The first step of making insulin is called insulin analogs. Insulin analogs is where scientists take animal insulin and tweak its amino acid chain to be more similar to human insulin. This is because human insulin and animal insulin are just a little bit different, and animal insulin is not accepted into diabetic humans' bodies. Then, scientists take 0.5 gram of genetically modified strain of E. coli and add it to a genetically modified strain of yeast. The microorganisms then begin to grow rapidly. Next, water, sugar, and nitrogen are added, and so is ampicillin, which is added to eat everything off but the needed protein producers. Then, a chemical called an inducer is added to the mix of bacteria. Next, the bacteria begin making insulin by holding the protein clumps inside themselves. Then, you have to separate the insulin from the now mound of trash bacteria using a centrifuge, which is basically a chemical separation machine. That new broth is then replaced with a liquid-containing substance that breaks down cell membranes, helping release the insulin from the bacteria. Insulin at this point still isn't insulin, but proinsulin, an inactive precursor of insulin. Scientists then use an enzyme to carve out the proinsulin, leaving behind the 51 insulin enzymes. Then, the insulin is separated from other molecules based on their electrical charge, acidity, size, and other characteristics. After this process, the insulin is pure but inactive. So to fix this, scientists use another enzyme mix to iron out the wrinkles and get the insulin in its final form. The final step is crystallization. The insulin is mixed with zinc, which helps form stable crystals, and dried until it's nothing but powder. When needed, the crystals are rehydrated and made into liquid for use. As you can see, chemistry is used in the entire process of making insulin. but it is also used in how insulin works inside the body. Insulin works as a key that unlocks the body's cells in order to take sugar or glucose within and make it into energy. If insulin is not present in a body, then blood sugar, or the sugars in your bloodstream that get there from the food we eat, is too high for the body to function correctly. Basically, insulin is the inducer for a chemical reaction to happen inside the body so that sugar is used properly in our cells. To order Insulin Aspart or learn more, go to chemistryislife.com. That's chemistryislife.com.